They want the Pentagon to assist them in the military suppression of the country. They do not want a 2028 election. They might not even want a 2026 midterm election because that would probably lose them the House. They want to crush the country before that can happen. But yeah, I think that's what they're gunning up for. I think that the thing that's barring them from really putting their nuts on the table and committing to it is largely incompetence. They are probably aware of the fact that the brass of the Pentagon does not like them. Like, they're dumb and delusional, but I think they know this. I think it's clear to them. And they also know that they can't purge the entire Pentagon because replacing the entire senior staff would be tantamount to eliminating the military entirely. For one, it might not even be allowed. Like, if they try to get rid of all the generals at the Pentagon, or at least a significant majority of them, the Pentagon might legitimately just say, no, actually. Nah. No. They might have tolerated what's happened up until this point as a kind of like symbolic changing of the guard. Higher up officials getting removed to comply with the, the whims of the administration. But an entire replacement might just lead to a military junta. If they attempt that. And what's more, even if they were successful in doing so, what are you going to do? Promote a bunch of majors up to general? I mean, where does the line, where does it end? Like, where are you going to find, it would be a shit show. You would gut the entire bureaucracy. Remember, bureaucracies are important. They've been rehiring federal workers that Doge fired. You can't just get rid of people. And with the Pentagon, they would have to get rid of all the people up top, all the decision makers. They would have to get rid of all of them. And then we're talking about a very, very regimented, very respect-oriented bureaucracy here. It just wouldn't work. It wouldn't work. So I think that what we're seeing here is their inept, maybe it'll be successful, I don't fucking know, but their inept attempt to signal this to the brass. But weirdly, rather than doing this the way you'd think an authoritarian would... Now, okay, I'm not trying to, if I was dictator, here's how I'd do it. But I feel like the play here would be to quietly, passively coerce and threaten small groups of military leadership over time and make your replacements gradually so you reach a tipping point, kind of a boiling frog, frog in a pot situation, right? But they fired some of the top brass right at the beginning, and they said they want to cut staff by 20%, but that's not the same. And also, the staff cuts need to be directed directly by the White House to make sure their ideological enemies are being removed, which means that they can't really do it in like if they just cut 20% based on, budget or what you flip a coin or whatever, you're not going to get the results you want. Basically, what I'm saying is, I don't think they're doing this the right way, which I'm happy about, but maybe it'll be sufficient for their purposes. I don't really know. I think they are getting the Pentagon ready to... I've used this term end American democracy a lot. I guess like capitalism, socialism, or authoritarianism, democracy kind of has nebulous borders, right? Like Turkey is definitionally a democracy, and it is also definitionally an autocracy. It's just, where it sits on the spectrum, what elements it has from both systems, and the extent to which they're relevant and effective. Yeah, it's a matter of degrees. It's amorphous. It's a blob. It's like boundaries, the borders in the air. It's all nebulous. Yeah. Nothing bad can happen. Only good happen. I think that what they want to do is use the military as a staging arm, a just massive crowd of people that can be used to suppress dissent and block the 2026 midterms from happening. It can only good happen. Thank you. By deploying National Guardsmen to a bunch of voting booths, by imposing unreasonable and restrictive standards by which people can vote in largely blue voting districts and counties, you could get the results they're looking for. And I think that they're trying to petition the Pentagon. Now, I personally consider this to be kind of a blessing in disguise, because the fact that they needed to do this, fly all the generals out from all over the world to have this speech, means they are very much not confident that they can do it right now. They would not do something like this and risk irritating so many of the top brass at the Pentagon if they were already confident the Pentagon was in a position that it would acquiesce to that order. So I see this as a sign of weakness, and I don't think this speech is going to be effective in changing the minds of those generals. Sorry, I watched all of Hegseth's, and we're going to watch a few clips from Trump's. I'm just not impressed. I don't think they did a good job, you know? I don't think it worked. It does still feel like Trump and Hegseth are just more interested in winning accolades from their idiot followers than they are in actually accomplishing anything. You know what I mean? They're literally doing the fascist version of like when, you know, lefties dedicate their entire online posting career to attacking AOC rather than, I don't know, advocating for unionizing or whatever. Like, maybe there are some criticisms you can direct at AOC. Certainly I've done that. But there are probably better things you can direct all of your time towards. You know, that's probably not the best use of your time. And in the case of these wannabe content creators, you know, this is what they want. They want accolades. My hope, and I'm really crossing my fingers here. I'm really crossing my fingers here to this one, okay? My hope is that the Pentagon is so... The Pentagon, the National Guard, the military in general, I know the Pentagon controls, you know. My hope is that the military is ideologically inoculated against this bullshit well enough that even when they are deployed, and even when there is civilian violence against them, and even when some National Guardsmen may be injured or killed by acts of violence from the terrorists, or fuck, not even terrorists or whatever, not even like a shooting or something, a rock from a crowd. It could be anything, man. Anything like that. My hope is terrorists. I meant like an actual, like if there was a, the temperature is being turned up in this country. I think it's reasonable. There is at least a possibility that if the military is deployed, properly deployed to American cities, there might be like widespread unrest and violence. But even like a rock being thrown by a protester, you know? My hope is that the military understands the real culprit at fault for this, you know? That's my hope. My hope is that the military broadly understands, like they get deployed to these cities, they see the protests, they know they're being put out there to stop the vote from happening, and they're like, this is all going to go badly and I know who's to blame. That's my hope. Is it naive? Maybe a little bit.